In this lesson, we're going to talk about compound figures. Now, we talked about compound figures at the very beginning of the unit because you wrote it as a definition on one of your notes. But a compound figure is two figures put together, two shapes put together, just like a compound word or two words put together, like rainbow, babysitter. And so what we're going to do is take all of the knowledge that we have and put it all together. You're not learning any new formulas today, you're just going to put them all together. So I can find the area of compound figures. And again, compound means two or more. All right, so go ahead and take out your blue formula sheet. And this is the information that we're going to write today. So here we have a picture of a compound figure. You'll see that you have a rectangle, and then here you have a triangle, and they are attached. And the way that you find the area of them is you first find the area of the triangle, then you find the area of the rectangle, and you add them together. And that is the area of the compound figure. Okay? So make sure you write your formula down. Now over here, I have a square, and I have a parallelogram that is sideways. And it kind of looks like it's a trapezoid and a triangle, but it's actually a parallelogram. It's just not zoomed in as well as it should be. All right, so first we're going to do the area of the square. Now, area of a square is base times height, okay? And so we have 4 times 4. So over here I'm going to do the square, and the area is base times height. So area equals 4 times 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. So the area of the square is 16 yards squared. Then we have the parallelogram here. So we have this, okay? And so it looks like it has a base of 4 yards, and it has a height of 2 yards. That's the height. And so an area for a parallelogram is actually base times height as well. So area equals 4 times 2. So area equals 8. And so the area of the parallelogram is 8 yards squared. Now to find the total area, you just add 16 and 8, and you should get 24 yards squared. And that is your answer. And the reason why this is not yards to the 4th power, because you see you have yards squared here and yards squared here, is because we're just adding them together. If we were multiplying them together, then that would give us yards to the 4th power. But because we're adding them and we're still talking about area, area is always going to be to the 2nd power. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with some examples. So here we have a triangle and we also have a square, and they are attached. So first, let's go ahead and do the area of the triangle. So I'm just going to sort of draw the shape here so that I know. So area of a triangle is area equals base times height times 0.5. So I have area equals, now the base here is the same base as a square, so it's going to be 2. My height is 1, and I have times 0.5. And so when you multiply all those together, you're going to get 1. So the area of the triangle is 1 inch squared. Then we have the area of the square. And the area of a square is area equals base times height. And so we have area equals 2 times 2. And 2 times 2 is 4. And so the area of the square is 4 inches squared. So the total area is 1 plus 4. That is 5, and then inches squared. See, so nothing new. We're just kind of adding it all together, literally and figuratively. All right, example number 2, and it looks like we have 2 rectangles that are attached to each other. So let's work with the horizontal rectangle first. So area of a rectangle is area equals base times height. And so we have area equals 6 is the base, 2 is the height. So 6 times 2. And so area equals 12. So it's going to be 12 miles squared. Then I have the tall, very thin looking rectangle here. And so again, the formula is area equals base times height. So area equals, the base is 1, the height is 5. And so the area equals 5, so we have 5 miles squared. And 12 miles plus 5 miles is going to be 17 miles squared, or to the second power. All right, let's look at another example over here. We'll get a little bit more complicated. So it looks like we have a rectangle and then we also have a triangle. So let's work with the rectangle first. Okay, so the area of a rectangle is going to be base times height. All right, so here we have the base, 110 centimeters. Okay, and here we have the height, 140 centimeters. Now, this 90 centimeters here is talking about a height, but it's only talking about the height of the triangle. You'll notice that if you take the 90 centimeters plus this 50 centimeters, it's going to give you this 140. So our area is going to be a base of 110 times a height of 140. And when you multiply those two together, it's going to give you 15,400. So 15,400 centimeters squared. All right, now let's talk about that triangle there. So the area of a triangle is area equals base times height times 0.5. So we have area equals, now the base of the actual triangle from right here to right here is 70. The height of the triangle is 90, and then times 0.5. And when you go ahead and multiply all of that, it's going to give you area equals 3,150. So 3,150 centimeters squared. And when you add that to the area of the rectangle, you should get 18,550 centimeters squared. All right, I have a couple for you to try. So let's just go one at a time because it can be a little overwhelming. And just so we can stick in the correct order, let's do the area of rectangle B first and then the area of rectangle A. So you go ahead and try this and then we will compare answers. All right, go ahead and hit pause right now if you're not done. If you are done, let's talk about it. So the area of rectangle B, you should have had a base of 4 and a height of 7. And the reason why we're using this 7 right here instead of this 9 is because I only want up to rectangle B right here. Okay, so 4 times 7 is going to give me 28 centimeters squared. Then I have rectangle A over here. He has a base of 10 centimeters and a height of 2 centimeters. So that's going to be 20 centimeters squared. 28 plus 20 is going to be 48 centimeters squared. All right, let's try another one. So with this one, before you get started, I just want to show you. Now, you can draw lines wherever you want to in order to split these shapes apart. And so I'm going to draw a line right there to help me determine that this is, one shape and that this is another shape. And so just so we can work together, do the area of the triangle first and then the area of the rectangle second. All right, go ahead and hit pause if you need to. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and explain. This one was just a tad bit more difficult. You'd had to think about it for a minute. So the area of a triangle is base height times 0.5. So our base is the same as this, 21, because it's this large, so that was pretty easy. But the height was more difficult. This 16 right here only refers to the height of the square because it ends right here. But it says the total height of this shape is 32 centimeters. But I just want the height of this. So you would do 32 minus 16, and that's going to give you what this is. And that would also give you 16 times 0.5. When you multiply all that together, it will give you 168 centimeters squared. And then for the rectangle right here, base times height, 21 times 16 is going to give you 336 centimeters squared. And when you add them together, you're going to get 504 centimeters squared. All right, go ahead and try this last one. We're going to do the area of number 1 and then the area of number 2. Now keep in mind that these are trapezoids, and we have not done compound figures yet with trapezoids, but it's the same process. You use the formula on both and you add them together. So you go ahead and try it. All right, go ahead and hit pause if you are not done. If you are done, let's go ahead and take a look. So I did the area of trapezoid number 1 first, which was this here. We had a base of 12 and another base of 20 and a height of 6. So I just plugged that all in. 12 plus 20 is 32 times 6 is 192 divided by 2 is 96. Same thing with the other one. We had a base of 10 and then a base of 20. 10 plus 20 is 30. 30 times 6, because 6 was the height, is 180. Divided by 2 is 90. When you add 96 and 90 together, you get 186 centimeters squared. All right, so now let's look at compound figures again, but this time with word problems, okay? Now, word problems are not always going to come with a drawing, but you can always feel free to draw it because drawings are always helpful. It's always helpful to have a visual. Mrs. Robinson's new pool shed door is made up of a rectangle that has a length of 8 feet and a height of 12 feet, and a triangle that has a height of 3 feet and a base of 8 feet. What is the area of the new door? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this information and I'm going to plug it into the drawing here. So the rectangle has a length of 8 feet, a height of 12 feet. The triangle has a height of 3 feet and a base also of 8 feet. And that's going to help me a lot. So I'm going to do the area of the triangle first, and then I'm going to do the rectangle second. So area equals base times height times 0.5. So area equals, the base is 8, the height is 3, times 0.5. When you plug all that into your calculator, you're going to get area equals 12. So that's going to be 12 feet squared. Now we have this rectangle, so area equals base times height. Area equals, the base is 8, the height is 12, and so area will equal 8 times 12 is 96. And so that's going to be 96 feet squared, 96, and then we're going to add the 12 from the triangle, and that's going to be 108 feet to the second power. Okay? Let's look at another example. AGMS is building a new brick wall in front of the school. The wall is made up of one rectangle and one square. The rectangle has a length of 144 feet, so I'm going to go ahead and do 144, but it says that's just up to here, okay? And a height of 4 feet, so it's 4 feet high. The square has the same height, so it's going to be 4 feet. What is the area of the wall? So I'm going to do the area of the square first, and then I'm going to do the area of the rectangle. And this order, guys, does not matter. You can do it in any order that you want, because at the end of the day, you're just going to add them together. And you won't have negative numbers in geometry because we're talking about measurements. So first we have the area of a square. So area equals base times height. Well, something that we know about squares is whatever one side is, that is the length of all the other sides. So area equals 4 times 4. And so your area is going to equal 16. So this is going to be 16 feet squared. Okay? Now we have the rectangle. The rectangle is also area equals base times height. So area equals, our base is 144, and our height is 4. And so 144 times 4 is going to be 576. Okay, when we add the 16 from the square, that's going to give us 592 feet to the second power. Okay. All right, let's look at another example here. So now we have, it looks like a trapezoid and a triangle. All right. The bases of a trapezoid are 4 inches and 10 inches. So I'm going to start labeling 4 and 10. The height is 3 inches. So the height, remember, is from the tallest point to the lowest point. It is not slanted. Okay. The base of a triangle is attached to the trapezoid, and that is 8 inches. So this is 8 inches here. The triangle shares the same height as the trapezoid. So the trapezoid, for the height of the trapezoid was 3. So this is also going to have a height of 3. What is the total area? So I'm going to do the area of the triangle first, and then I'm going to do the area of the trapezoid. All right, so area of a triangle is area equals base times height times 0.5. So area equals, the base is 8, the height is 3, times 0.5. When you multiply all that together, it's going to give you 12. So this is 12 feet, oops, not feet, 12 inches to the second power. Now we have the trapezoid. So we have area equals base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. So let's fill in what we have. Area equals 4 plus 10 times 3 divided by 2. Area equals 4 plus 10 is 14 times 3 divided by 2. Order of operations tells us do the multiplication first. 14 times 3 is 42 divided by 2, which would give you 21. So 21 inches to the second power. when we add 12 and 21, we're going to get 33 inches to the second power. And that's going to be the area of both of these figures together. All right, it is your turn. Now you will notice I have not drawn a picture for you. It is up to you whether or not you want to draw a picture. You're going to try these examples, but we're going to go through them one at a time. So go ahead and get started on this one. All right, so pause the video if you're not done. I went ahead and drew a picture because I'm a picture person and pictures always help me. So here I have the rectangle with a base of 55, a height of 30, and then I have the triangle that has the same base, 55, and a height of 10. I calculated the area of the triangle first, base times height times 0.5, so that was 55 times 10 times 0.5, and that gave me 275 feet squared. Then I had the area of the rectangle, which is base times height, so 55 times 30, which is 1,650. And when you added them all together, you would get 1925 feet squared. All right, go ahead and try this one here. Remember, draw a picture if it helps. All right, if you are not done, go ahead and hit pause. If you are done, let's talk about it. So the important thing here is that did you catch that there were 2 rectangles and 1 square? So there were 3 shapes total, okay? The 2 rectangles, they had a length of 10 and a width of 9, which is the same as base and height. And then the square had a length of 5, and we know that squares have all sides that are the same, so each side is 5. Now, for the two rectangles, base times height is 10 times 9, which is 90 inches squared. And for the square, 5 times 5 is 25, which is 25 inches squared. When you add 90, 90, and 25, you should get 205 inches squared. All right, I think that this is the last example, so let's go ahead and get to work on this. All right, if you're not done, go ahead and hit pause, and if you are done, let's talk about it. So in this compound figure, there were two shapes. There was a parallelogram, and there was also a square. So the parallelogram had a base of 18 and a height of 13, and the formula is area equals base times height, so 13 times 18 is 234. And then the square had a side of 18, and we know that squares, all of the sides are congruent. So 18 times 18 is 324. When you add the two together, you get 558 centimeters squared. All right, that is the end of our compound shapes lesson. Remember to rewind, fast forward, or pause if you have any questions, and always ask me questions in class.